got your Monster Makers kit? I'm just going to open mine up now. Let's see what we got. Stuffing. I've got one monster, buttons, polka dots, horns and teeth. There's some more polka dots. There's the other side of my monster. Embroidery thread that I need to stitch with. More buttons. Cut out heart so I can put that in before I zip it up, and that way I know my monster will be good. And ribbons in case I want to fancy it up at the end. The first thing I have to do is match my monster up so that I know which side is going to match what. And it looks like this shoulder doesn't match that one, so I think it goes this way. Alright, so if this is the way it goes, yep, everything seems to match up well. Okay, great. Then that means this side of this light blue is the outside, and this side of the navy blue is the outside. So I want to make sure that I have both of my outsides facing up. And I'm going to lay out my monster designs so I can plan it before I get started. Alright, so now I have my monsters laid out the way I want to do them. I've got horns, claws, everything. They're quite ambitious, these ones. Alright, so what I need is my embroidery thread. So I've cut about an arm's length. So if you have little arms, you might want to cut 2 arms lengths. And then what I'm doing here is this thread comes in strands, 6 different strands. And I'm pulling 3 one way and 3 the other way. This is way easier to do if you have somebody to hold the other end while you're pulling. Sometimes I just use my foot. And then I'm only going to use 3 at a time because this thread is plenty thick and you don't need to use it all. Alright, so I'm going to start with the horns and the claws. So maybe I'll just grab this one here. I'll just leave that to the side so I remember how I had it. And so this is going to be the outside. So what I want to do is tuck that in a little bit. And then I'm just going to go in one side, starting from the back towards me. And then I'm just going to put the needle, let's see here, make sure you can see, right back in there. And see, I got to make sure it comes out of the pink side, right, and then I can pull it up, and then I'm going to go back in this side, go through the pink, go through the blue, and then I'm going to go back in again. So at the very end, I do one more stitch, and just before that stitch is pulled tight, I sew the needle through it. Then I pull it tight. And I'm going to do that twice just for good safekeepings there. And I'll try that again. Here we go. So I just do a little stitch, and then I just pull it, and just before it's pulled tight, I make sure I stick the needle through the loop. And then I pull it tight. Now it's ready for me to cut, tie a new knot, and move on to a new area. Now I'm going to sew on the eye. In this one, I can stack all of these different felt circles. This is going to be my cyclops. And then I've got the button there. So I put the button whichever way I want facing up. And I've got my thread and needle with the knot tied at the back. And this one's a little hard. You got to watch you don't poke your finger. But you have to kind of stick the needle in, and you can... Maybe if I can poke the needle out, then I can put the button on it. Perfect. So I'll stitch it through, and then I'm going to go through the other hole. If your button has 4 holes, then you just can do a crisscross, or you can just hop from one to the other. Sometimes it's hard to get it back through there. You can look at where your old one went in, and that sometimes helps. There we go. And in, and I'm going to do it 3 times just because I want it to hold. Great. So now I'm going to flip it over and do the same thing that I did with the horns and claws and stuff to tie it off. So remember, I stitched, I pulled it through, and before it pulls through, I make a knot. Make a stitch, pull it through. Before it completely pulls through, I'm going to put my needle through that loop. And I'm going to do that one more time. All right. Now I'm going to sew the teeth on. I'm just going to do a straight stitch. I'm going to do it 2 different ways. On this one, I'm going to do just like I did the horns. So I'm going to go in through the back and up and go across. And it's okay to see the stitching. That's why we got colorful thread. It actually looks really nice on these guys. So you can go back in and out the back. And now I'm going to turn the corner, and I'm going to go all the way down this side of the tooth. You could have your tooth just sewn at the top so it flicks up if you want. I'm just going to sew mine down just because I think they're going to last longer that way. You don't have to put too many stitches in it. So I got to sew the teeth on this side now, and I was just thinking maybe I'd do them a different way, just to show you another way you can do it. So this time I'm going to come in through the back, same way, but I'm just going to go on the outside edge. So I'm going to go in through the black, up through the yellow. In through the black, up through the yellow. And my stitches look different that way, and just whatever way you like best, or you can even mix it up. That's the cool thing with Monsters, is you can do one tooth one way and another way. So I just go in through the black and up through the yellow. I'm gonna go